American scientist James Stuckey and volunteer Judy Creedon demonstrating the human body's ability to conduct electricity during a lecture in New York, 1966. Toy factory workers painting dolls' faces, 1950s. It's believed many employees were deaf-mute, often hired in such industries. The last known photo of Charlie Chaplin. Life buoys for swimmers. In 1925, they were made from bicycle inner tubes. The USSR actively fought against religion and alcohol. This photo shows the head of state in 1970. Chinese billionaire Liu Han immediately after the death sentence was announced. He had been accepting bribes and promoting relatives and acquaintances to positions of power. WWE veteran playing guitar to survive, Japan, 1951. A Syrian girl in a refugee camp in Turkey. Mistaking the camera for a weapon, she raised her hands, 2012. A heartbreaking photo from 1995 taken in Chechnya. The owners say goodbye to their dog as they leave the combat zone. An artificial tree used by the British Army as an observation point during World War I. An American Marine offers his cigarette to a Japanese soldier who had pretended to be dead for more than 2 days, 1945. Walter Yeo, the first known patient to undergo plastic surgery in medical history. Illegal abortions remained a reality in the USA until the early 1970s, when the procedure was considered murder. However, many doctors continued to perform this procedure underground. The owner of the abortion clinic in the photo would be tried for murder. A German motorcyclist on Russian roads, 1941. A donkey saving a donkey, while man kills man. Siamese Royal Guard, Thailand, late 19th century. King George inspects the day's trophies. Tigers hunted during his visit to India, 1911. Uzbek schoolgirls during a math lesson. Tashkent, Turkestan Soviet Republic, 1921. Crime reporter Vlado Teneski reported on serial murders in Macedonia, crimes he had actually committed. Police caught him because he published details only the killer would know. After DNA confirmed his guilt, he was found dead in his cell, his head in a bucket of water. The head of an extinct dodo bird kept in the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford. This is the only preserved head of the extinct animal. Children in an iron lung before the polio vaccine, 1950. It is believed that if a person recognizes at least 25 historical figures depicted in this picture, they are already sufficiently educated. Marilyn Lovell, wife of Apollo 13 commander, reads Front Page News, 1970. Residents of Hiroshima pray towards the epicenter of the explosion on the first anniversary of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima, 1946. Mother and son watch a growing mushroom cloud during nuclear tests. Las Vegas, USA, 1953. In the 1930s, the Soviet Union attempted to create a human-chimpanzee hybrid through insemination. The experiments were unsuccessful and were discontinued. Infant crawling races, a popular sporting event in New Jersey during the 1940s. Children play with bundles of money during hyperinflation. Germany, 1922. A prisoner at the Dachau concentration camp during a medical experiment, 1943. The last photo of the Javan tiger, a now extinct species, 1938. Sophia Loren in her natural beauty, around 1955. Black prisoners serve disciplinary punishment, USA 1937. Before the signing of Germany's surrender on May 8, 1945, the head of the German delegation, Field Marshal Keitel, seeing French military personnel among those present at the ceremony, was astonished and asked, "What? Did these also defeat us?" The first day of war. Soviet civilians in Moscow listened to the radio announcement that Germany has invaded the Soviet Union, 22nd June 1941. A Turkish official taunts starving Armenian children with bread during the Armenian Genocide, 1915. Ray Park getting into character on the set of Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, 1999. A nurse holds a newspaper bearing the headline announcing the creation of the Salk polio vaccine for a patient, 1955. Sale of dinosaur footprints extracted from limestone in the Paluxy Riverbed, Texas, 1954. Beware a vicious dog, sign, 1940s. USA, 1960. Since many older American cities lack swimming pools, entrepreneurs devised a mobile, pay-to-use swimming pool on wheels. In the photo, the 1st German Division of Sex Intelligence during World War II. They were selected based on their appearance. People resting on the lawn on a clear day in New York, September 11, 2001. Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet, and James Cameron on the set of Titanic, 1997. Execution in Turkey in the 18th century. A woman caught in a sexual act before marriage was sewn into a sack with cats and drowned. Los Angeles police dressed as women during an operation to catch a purse snatcher, 1960. Escape by swimming, 1966. A mother and children from South Vietnam attempt to swim across a river to escape an attack during Operation Piranha. When the photo won a Pulitzer Prize, photographer Kyuchi Sawada went searching for the family in the photo and ultimately gave them half of the winnings. See. American soldiers are shown one of the methods of execution in the German concentration camp Buchenwald, 1945. Ainu girls started lip tattoos around age 7, enduring years of cut-and-soot ink with no anesthesia. It was painful, repetitive, expected before marriage. Japan banned it by 1871, nearly erasing the rite. Breakup letter from Tupac to Madonna in 1995, written while in Rikers Island prison. He admits that being in a relationship with a white woman could hurt his reputation among fans. View of the epicenter of a nuclear explosion 2 seconds after the blast. Kazakhstan, 1949. The arsenal discovered in Bonnie and Clyde's car after their death, 1934. A bicycle corps of the Netherlands Army on the eve of the German invasion in 1940. The Thousand-Yard Stare. USMC Private Theodore J. Miller is helped aboard a ship after intense combat on Eniwetok Atoll. Miller was KIA a month later, 1944. Posing in the style of the Headless Horseman, 1920s. In 1989, about 2 million people from Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania formed a human chain linking the 3 countries to show their desire to leave the Soviet Union. 21 Sikh Indians fought against 10,000 Afghans at the Battle of Sarigari on September 12, 1897. They all died, but the casualties among the Afghans exceeded 600. I always wash my kitty with fragrant soap, postcard, 1920s. A massive ocean sunfish weighing 3,500 pounds, 1,587 kilo, caught by fishermen off Santa Catalina Island, California, April 1910. Prostitutes behind bars in a brothel, Japan, 1890. Most of these women, likely from Korea or China, were sold by their families or husbands to repay debts. A man who lost all his money in the stock market sells his Chrysler for $100. USA, 1929. Throughout history, women have explored various methods to enhance their bust size, and this balloon contraption is among the less risky options. The Primwaddle twins. When the husband found out his wife gave birth to twins, he was horrified and left the family. After this betrayal, Mrs. Primwaddle hated men, but unfortunately the twins were boys. She decided to act as though her boys were girls. The children believed they were girls until the age of 19. Upon learning the truth, they decided they would not tolerate it anymore. They strangled their mother with a scarf and gouged out her eyes. Home massage, 19th century. One of the most powerful and terrifying photos of the Hungarian uprising, the execution by rebels of the Defenders of the Budapest City Party Committee. Adolf and Rudolf Dassler, brothers, founders of Puma and Adidas, they hated each other so much that they didn't speak until the end of their lives. Winston Churchill in Boer War captivity, standing on the right, South African Republic, 1899. Execution of a murderer by burying him up to his head, Persia, 1870s. Volcanologists Maurice and Katia Kraft, who witnessed 150 eruptions and often risked their lives for science. In 1991, they and 39 others died during the collapse of a lava dome at Mount Unzen, Japan. A resident of a small tribe in the mountains of New Guinea shocked upon seeing a white man for the first time in his life. Until 1930, these natives believed they were the only people on Earth. The exorcism ritual over German girl Anneliese Michel, whose story was the basis for the movie The Exorcism of Emily Rose, Germany, 1976. A man guards his family from cannibals. The Great Famine, 1876, British India. Emma Lillian Todd, the first woman to design her own airplane, 1909. The last public appearance of Chinese leader Mao Zedong, 1976. East German border guards observed the dispersal of protesters using tear gas on the other side of the Berlin Wall, 1988. The arrest of Martin Luther King for suing for service in a white-only restaurant, 1964. The fashionable vice of the Victorian era. Opium addiction, which began in China. The English facilitated this trade, preferring to pay with opium instead of silver for tea. Photo from 1865. Special anti-gas cribs for infants. England, 1942. Smallpox, the only human disease that was successfully eradicated. Smallpox cannot be treated, and the smallpox vaccine was the first successful vaccine ever invented. Prostitute's timer. In the late 19th century, French prostitutes kept sets of candles like these. Each candle burned for about 7 minutes and was lit at the beginning of a session. Many will smirk, just 7 minutes. Many will call the girls lazy, and they wouldn't be wrong. The death stairs at the Mauthausen concentration camp were the place where prisoners carried granite stones weighing about 50 kilo, c. 110 lbs, up 186 steps. Guards forced them to make up to 10 climbs a day, regardless of the heat or cold. Due to the exhausting conditions, many fell, dropping the stones on others, leading to injuries and deaths. 1943. The Iron Maiden. A terrifying torture device for heretics. It was a sarcophagus with 20-centimeter spikes. When closed, they pierced the body, intentionally missing vital organs. A cigarette butt collector. Paris, 1905. A village paramedic with a patient, 29 years old at the time of the photo, Russian Empire. The last public execution in the USA, 1936. A Bear artilleryman fought in the Polish army in exile during Defy. He helped Polish gunners unload ammunition crates and even carried shells during battle. Victorian women who never cut their hair, 1885. Treadmills were once invented as a punishment for criminals. Convicts climbed 10–15,000 meters, which was more exhausting than mine work. Albanians flee to Italy in March 1991. Western Europe learned what a mass influx of refugees was for the first time in many years. At that time, more than 20,000 Albanians unexpectedly arrived at the Italian port of Brindisi. A grandmother sees punks for the first time in her life. London, 1982. King Constantine II of Greece, right, and Prince Juan Carlos I of Spain, left, sparring in karate. Corfu, Greece, 1966. Two illustrations condemning the crimes of the corset and how it maims and restricts women's bodily organs. How Formula One used to be photographed, around 1960. A eunuch guarding a harem, Tunisia, 1931. The first remote-controlled quadcopter, 1941. Merchants prepare for the repeal of prohibition in Ohio, USA, 1933. Grand Duke Michael Alexandrovich, 1900s. Japanese soldiers await an approaching Chinese tank, Shanghai, 1937. A Christmas party in Badagry, Nigeria. Carla Bruni with her parents, 1992. Children in trenches during the bombing of England around 1941. Sparked a reaction. Whether good or bad, I'd love to read your comments below. Get ready for the next installment very soon. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss out. Catch you later.